Hello, welcome to my library. I've been working on a story here. If I can move the box. There we go. So I guess this is going to be my last YouTube video, my first library video. Moving with Paul Talk over to the library zone on account of the powers that be. Well, thought I'd kick things off with a couple short stories that actually I've been working on. There's also a more political thing I've been involved with, but I'll let that wait for another video. You mask holes out there. Excuse the cigarette. The story is called Alien. I guess if you're on YouTube, link in the description to my library channel. Also link to the story in plain text, which I'd actually kind of prefer people to read. This spoken word version is for Paul Talk, who's doesn't want to strain his eyes. I guess. But it's also a good excuse for me to make another video. I haven't really been hoisting the torch as much as I arguably should. I hope that the audio is okay. Let's begin. For lack of a better title, it's called Alien. Crash Landed is the subtitle. It starts. Actually, a friend suggested I swap around some paragraphs. I'm gonna start a couple of paragraphs down and then retrace. I'm thinking out loud here. This is the advantage of the spoken word version. You get to hear all my commentary, all my vocal footnotes. So, let's start. As soon as I escape Earth, I'm going to get a six-pack of Alpha Tonic, a carbonated synthetic beverage that comes in a see-through can. Ever since I landed here, I've been jonesing for a sip. Darylenium, Urgu, Placidiate. None of the several dozen items listed in its proprietary blend are sold here. It's my neighbor. I'm recording a video. Day by day I notice my attention span waning, turning soft, out of focus. Worse yet, my morals have loosened considerably. I'm becoming demented, a danger to society. I still know everything from before, but none of it sticks together like it used to. It's as if my mind is a library without a catalog system. At any moment, another gust of hypersonic wind can catch me off guard and send another shelf's worth of contents flying out of alphabetical order. A series of mini-strokes with no particular rhythm or cadence. When I first arrived, it took me about a day to learn the local language, English. That was when I was still strong. Now it would take twice that long to finish a short novel. Strange relics here, novels. No one seems to really read them, but I've found them to be a useful resource. At first my interest was purely speculative, anthropological. I wanted to know who I was dealing with. But eventually that changed. As my intelligence dropped to an increasingly suboptimal level, I am now rapidly approaching the baseline of the general population. I experienced a new phenomenon, alien to my race. I began to have emotions. At first I thought I had contracted a disease. Feelings of sadness, anger, frustration rose up my torso and climbed into my face with little warning. Each new feeling had its own signature. I lost control of my heart rate and oxygen levels. It took me a long time to connect these bodily sensations with the things I was reading and seeing all around me. At first, I thought I had contracted a disease. In a way, I had. I was becoming human. The evaporation of intelligence in the brain is often accompanied by a sensation like that experienced, sources say, prior to the moment of death. The head begins to ache at the base of the skull. The vestibular system, responsible for coordinating eye movement with posture, the sense of being fixed in one location at one time, is compromised. Joints, orifices, and extremities compete for recognition by the higher neocortex, whose difficult work of piloting the body away from harm and towards health has been badly mismanaged. It sometimes happens that during this process people feel compelled to act, to, for God's sake, do something, but by then it's usually too late. The faculty for action has become a vestigial organ, only capable of becoming inflamed. The only thing that could offer rescue, in this case, is the same part that is under attack, squirming in the crosshairs, same as it ever was. Kyrie eleison, Christ have mercy. You might wonder how someone without a family or a childhood could ever become fully human. The answer is that they can't, not fully. When a child is forming in the womb, he receives all of his nutrients through the umbilical cord. Whatever emotions his mother experiences during pregnancy are transmuted into hormonal correlates, implanted in the bloodstream and pre-installed at the moment of birth. When the lungs first fill with air, the child goes into a state of shock, from which he never fully recovers. He finds it impossible to accept that he must move and act on his own behalf. At first, the effort nearly kills him, and then it finally does. Sleep overtakes him constantly because he is never able to entirely adapt to his own sorry state of conscious awareness. Navigating the physical environment and urgently tending to the avoidance of threats or the monitoring of potential threats becomes too much to bear, too painful and damaging to the fragile condition his premature biological independence has hellishly subjected him. His body knows no other means of self-regeneration than regression to a prior. It's okay. No, it's fine. I'm just.
Okay, sorry. I felt bad that I just ruined it.
No, it's not. I'll just continue. It's not a big deal.
So bad. I just ruined it.
No, you didn't ruin anything.
Should I go in the other room?
No, you can. I mean, whatever you prefer.
I just don't want to make you nervous.
No, it won't make me nervous. I'm almost done.
Now, how are you gonna crop that out? That part?
No.
Can you redo it?
No, I'm too lazy to redo it. It's par for the course for me. My videos often feature interruptions of one kind or another. It makes it more real, maybe. I'll be done in a second.
No. It's almost done, so I was just
Okay.
to kill time.
Where was I? Hellishly. His body knows no other means of self-regeneration than regression to a prior, more blissfully dependent state of embryonic vegetation. On this basis, you could reasonably conclude that even the healthiest human specimens secretly wish, on some level, and throughout their lives, that they had never been born. One thing that I have retained from before, and that I suspect may be contributing to my devolution, is that I do not sleep. Cannot, in fact. In just such a mode of entropic free fall, the drugstore clerk asks if I have a rewards card. I don't begrudge anyone their stupidity. We are, one and all, fate's bitch. And after all, this drugstore clerk isn't even really stupid, at least not in this instance. But the interaction must be noticed, documented, and stored for future reference in case I make it back alive. I need some kind of record to help the future me retrace his steps. And so I've been working on a taxonomy of error, my grand opus. I stare at the clerk and say, no. And he says, would you like to sign up for one? You'll get 20% off. So, in what way am I becoming human? You can think of it a little like this. Quantum entanglement, roughly speaking, and I'm sorry if this sounds like I lifted it off the dust jacket of a book of pop psychology, bear in mind my plummeting IQ, refers to the fact that particles ultimately exercise no free movement. Their position in space is determined by that of other particles, even at vast, unfathomable distances. I have, by analogy, become entangled. The things that go on here shouldn't affect me, and yet they have begun to. I can't explain it, and maybe it can't be explained. But either way, my experience has begun to prod harder and harder toward the same inexplicable conclusion. What happens here matters. I don't know why or how, but it does. So, that's all I've written of Alien. I'll maybe read my other story when I'm in a different mood. I don't know if I thought about like gluing different stories together, but maybe that's a bad idea. But already there seems to be a nice arc here, so continue that, and I guess just fishing for encouragement and tactful correction of one kind or another, whatever occurs to anybody. And I guess that's really it. Death to YouTube, long live library.